My Little Pony is owned by DHX Media and Hasbro Studios. Please support the official release. Hello YouTube, T-Sparks here with my thoughts of the MLP movie. This is your spoiler warning right now. I will be talking about the movie in depth and discussing major plot points, so if you don't want to hear it, leave now. Alright, I saw this movie Thursday night and at 9:50 p.m., so there was only 6 of us there. But I liked the movie. It was good. It wasn't as good as it could have been, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it might be. First, before we get started, there's one thing we have to acknowledge. The real pony who saved the day, Derpy, aka Muffins. Thank you, Derpy, for taking that blast from my Twilight. I could not thank you more than that, Derpy. You get a lifetime supply of muffins from Sugar Corner. I'm sure they'll gladly give those to you. Anyway, after that, this movie went pretty much how I expected it to go. I knew Tempest would be reformed from the minute I saw the trailer, because, you know, that's just the type of show this is. And since she wasn't the main villain, I had a feeling she would be reformed. Alright, well, we'll start at the beginning here. The animation, I loved it, but it also gave me a headache in a way. The backgrounds is what really messed me up a bit. It just seems too off-model, like it was two separate layers just stuck together. And the Storm King's blimps look like they're from a cheap video game from the 90s. The pirate ship was awesome. I don't know why they made the Storm King's blimps so bad if they could do it that way. And let's see, the characters in this movie are of course, our normal main 6. Which Twilight had a great showing here. But like a lot of reviews I've seen so far of this movie, Twilight's anxiety level is more of a level of a season 4 Twilight. She was very nervous just about asking Celestia, Luna, and Cadance to create a solar eclipse for her friendship festival. Why exactly was she so nervous? She's a co-ruler of Equestria. Also, when she going in there and says princesses, and says princesses to them every time she talked to them, Celestia would normally be like, you don't have to call me princess anymore, Twilight. But I don't know, I consider Celestia, Luna, and Cadance pretty much non-entities in this movie. I don't think anyone can argue that. Cadance especially, she was just a paperweight. Luna had some awesome moments during the attack. And I love how Celestia, Luna, and Cadance came to meet Tempest and say, yeah, this is my land. What the hell are you doing? I don't know how you could have integrated it in the story a little bit more. Because this story is basically a Twilight story. Her friends were there and they were good. But let's face it, this was Twilight's movie. She was the main protagonist. She was the one with the pressure of the entire world upon her. And had no idea what to do about it. The only thing she did was grasp onto the last thing Celestia said before she was frozen. And I am still curious how Celestia thought the Queen of the Hippogriffs could save Equestria. Maybe the pearl thing? I'm guessing Celestia is the one that gave them the pearl or something. Or at least she knew about it. And that's another kind of plot hole I'm working on here. Is Celestia and Luna would have to be very familiar with the Storm King If she knows about the hippogriffs, she knows about the Storm King, and they didn't do anything about them? They're just flying around, conquering the Badlands. I guess if they stayed out of Equestria, Celestia might deem it not her business to get into. I actually could see that from Celestia. Now, before you start hitting the dislike, I did not dislike this movie. It just, there were some inconsistencies in it. They seem to be nerfing Twilight a lot in this movie. We've seen her do some pretty powerful stuff in the past. But in this movie, she barely used any telekinesis. She never teleported once. Even when they're running for the pirate ship that's leaving, and they're all grasping on to her tail trying to fly over there, why didn't she just teleport them? We've seen her do that many times before. They're running on collapsing scaffolding when she could have easily levitated them over. I know, it's for tension and it gives the kids a good oh my god moment, but you know. The new characters that we were introduced in this movie were okay, I guess. The pirates, I like her. I like the main pirate lady. I'm sorry, but I don't remember her name. She was pretty cool. And typical with this show, one simple song just gets them to betray the Storm King and work with them. Yeah, that works in real life. Oh, you'll all be killed if you turn against the Storm King. Oh, but they sung a song, so we're gonna do it anyway. In the end, the ending battle in Canterlot was two-sided coin for me. Number one, it was fun seeing Pinky use her powers, and the pirates fighting the Storm King's soldiers. But I'm just all like, why didn't you just go get the dragons? What about the changelings? They can all turn into bears. Go get some allies and invade Canterlot and take it back. But I know that's not this kind of movie. And they really didn't have time for all that. Plus, we don't know what part in the timeline this movie takes place in. Since Starlight and Trixie are together, I'm guessing it's at the beginning of Season 6. And I am also disappointed that they did not give Starlight any lines. I know a lot of people were ticked off that she was going to be in the movie at all, but she could have at least reassured Twilight in the beginning, just like Conan Royal said in his review. And, you know, it just bugs me thinking that Starlight, during that attack, was just standing there being captured. I guess that's just the way it goes in movies like this. Tempest. Now, she was an interesting character. She actually has a physical disability, even though she has incredible power from her horn. And it looks like she can somewhat control it. Her and Starlight have a lot of similarities. They both went through a traumatic event, and I know one was more traumatic than the other, and everyone's going to point out that Tempest's backstory is so much better than Starlight's. I hate to tell you this, but sometimes emotional pain can be just as bad as physical pain. I'm not saying that Glimmy's is worse than Tempest's, but I see them in different lights. To me, Starlight is still the better character, but I understand people liking Tempest's backstory better. She got her horn ripped off by an Ursa Minor. Ow! That had to hurt like hell. It makes you wonder what kind of procedure there is in Equestria for a unicorn with a damaged horn. We have seen one before, in that horrible Where the Apple Lies episode, we saw a stallion in the hospital with his horn broke off about the same height as Tempest. So, what is the procedure for a broken horn? That is something that would be interesting to find out. The Storm King, he was a pretty good character. He seemed like a jokey, crazy guy that was no threat, but when it was time, you know he'd kill you in a second without even blinking. I got that impression from him. I actually did like the way he was presented. A little too goofy, but the whole phone scene, I could have done without that. Oh, I have to get better spell service. Oh, face hoof right there. Let's see what else we got here. Bulk, I liked him. He got more lines than Starlight. That's crazy. No lines from the CMC. Spike did okay. I'm glad he supported Twilight after that whole Pearl debacle. Okay, that's what I want to talk about next. The whole Twilight stealing the Pearl and everyone feeling so betrayed by it. I can understand the feeling of betrayal there. I can understand it was wrong, completely wrong for Twilight to do that. And to send her friends in to distract the hippogriffs while she did it was another hit against Twilight here. But a lot of people are claiming this is out of character for Twilight, and it was inconceivable why she'd do something like this. But I disagree. It comes down to one word: desperation. Twilight saw this Pearl as the only thing that could possibly save her friends, family, and mentors. And the Queen quite clearly said, "No way in hell." So she was desperate. She saw no other solution to the problem. Was it wrong? Yes. But it is understandable. I do not blame Twilight for that happening. When it happened, I knew it was going to happen. And I was actually surprised that they had a security system that stopped her. But it also raises some other questions. If this freaking Pearl is so important, and it's in the freaking throne room, where are the guards? Guards wouldn't go off to sing the song with Pinky. They'd be there in the throne room. Where were the guards? Although guards in MLP are pretty much just status symbols anyway. They're useless in a fight anyway. So I do not have a problem with what Twilight did. I accept it, and she learned from it. At the end, when she was trapped by Tempest, and Tempest told her, "Friendship failed you," Twilight quite literally said, "No, I failed friendship." That is what makes that moment acceptable. Twilight screwed up, and she knew she did. And she will never let something like that happen again. Now, the looks of betrayal on the Hippogriff Queen is what kind of puzzles me a little bit. She looked at Twilight like, "Oh, I've known you for years and risked my life for you, and you did this to me? You just met them 20 minutes ago. You have no idea who they are. You never even asked their names. And you're acting like they betrayed you as a lifelong friend. You just barely met them. How is that a big betrayal? They were up clear from the front that they wanted that Pearl." But I understand they need drama and everything. I did like the Princess Skylar, or whatever her name is. Sorry, I haven't remembered a lot of the names from the movie. I only saw it once so far. But I did like her. She was fun. She was like Gabby. And she was fun, energetic, and could fight, and she wasn't annoying, which is hard to pull off. Pinky was really good in this movie. When stuff gets real, Pinky can get real too. During that scene after they washed up on shore, I don't think I'd ever see Pinky like that. It was a good character moment for her. Applejack was just kind of there. She was in the background. I know there's a lot of background pony jokes, but I'm sorry she was in the background. Fluttershy felt way too timid to me. Like pre-season 4 timid. She didn't do anything. The therapy session with the Storm Guard is both funny and sad at the same time. I was expecting at that moment for her to call Harry over to beat the hell out of that guard. Because we know he was there in Canterlot. I don't know. I know it's one of those moments that they think is funny. The Storm King getting the power of all 4 princesses. So that is why they redesigned the throne room, so it can channel the power from Celestia, Luna, Cadance, and Twilight into a staff. What? Where did the staff come from? How did Tempest know about it? And how exactly did he control the sun and moon like that? If you can do it on a staff, why do you need Celestia and Luna? And why exactly did they need Twilight's power to make it work? They controlled the sun and the moon long before Twilight was born. And Cadance is just a Barbie doll that sits in the Crystal Empire. She doesn't have any real power. I know all you Cadance fans are probably downvoting this, but I just don't like Cadance. She's so Barbie dollish. She doesn't do anything. And where the hell was Shining Armor? You could have at least had him run up with the guard to try to protect his wife. In the end, I don't know, this was a decent movie, but not the best thing ever for me. I rated it about 8 out of 10. I don't know how it'll do in the box office. Rotten Tomatoes got it 69%, so that's pretty good. We want the show to continue, so we gotta hope the movie does well. If there's anything that I missed, feel free to bring it up and I'll respond if I can. The ending of the movie was, pretty predictable. We saw that was gonna happen. Tempest being reformed. I knew about that from the first moment I saw her, that she'd be reformed somehow. Storm King, that surprised the hell out of me. This will be the last thing here. They freaking killed him. There is no ambiguity about that. They froze him into crystal and then dropped it off the balcony. He's dead. He's in pieces. MLP seems to be continuing the tradition that queens, most queens, and kings are evil. Every king that we have seen in the show has been killed. Sombra was blown to pieces. Storm King was smashed to pieces. I think we all know now why Thorax is not called the King of the Changelings, because then he'd have to die. I don't know if that's actually the case, or it's just these 2 characters particularly had to be killed off, but that's what it seems like to me. Also, one thing that surprised me in this movie was how dark it was. The enslavement of the ponies after they captured Canterlot, having them haul cages around with muzzles in irons and everything, that was some dark crap. That was even darker than Sombra. Sombra at least let them talk. And I did think the one thing was funny was Songbird in a cage. She's literally a caged songbird. I did like her too. She had more personality than I expected. She was actually kind of a warm, welcoming person, which I didn't expect from someone like her. And once again, Pinky's party cannon saves the day. Literally. So, in the end, I'd recommend this movie. It's good. But I wouldn't expect any world-changing events to happen. I've heard some rumors that Season 8 is supposed to deal with the aftermath of this movie. But I don't know if those are true or not, and I don't know what kind of aftermath there could possibly be, since the magic fixed everything at the end. Well, before I go, there is one thing I wanted to mention. I know this won't happen, because she's a celebrity voice actress and everything, and this might be out of character for MLP. But for what I was hoping for Tempest now that she's reformed, I want her to be Twilight's personal guard. After this invasion, it gotta be very clear that Twilight needs some royal guards, even though they're useless as a paperweight. But Tempest is not useless. She is a hell of a fighter, even without her magic. We need to make her captain of Twilight's Secret Service. Twilight has been taking her security far too lightly for far too long. I know she's Twilight, she's the main character, and she's got to be Twilight. But she is a princess, and she's got to take that seriously. Will they ever do anything like that? I doubt it, but I don't see why it wouldn't hurt to at least give her a dozen guards. You know, at least someone to watch the door. Come on, Hasbro. Celestia's got tons of guards, and they're just standing there. Let's get some for Twilight. It's a status symbol, too. She's not considered a real princess because she doesn't go through all the princess stuff. When she goes to town, people just say, "Hi, princess." Oh, okay, I'm getting on my Princess Twilight high horse here. No pun intended. But yeah, in the end, I liked the movie. It was about as good as I thought it would be. I wish we would have got a little more fleshing out from the main six, and at least a line or two from Starlight. But in the end, I'm happy I went to see it, and I will be buying it when it comes out. So, to all of you that listen to this rambling horseshit, thank you. And please support the official release. Don't forget to go buy the movie when it comes out and go watch it. And to all of you reactors that actually got a copy and reacted to this, I hate you sons of guns, but I also envy the hell out of you. And I will be watching you guys when it comes out. Alright, thanks. And please support the official release. Bye now.